Today, we're diving into something that's about to completely change how we fly. We're talking about 5G and how it's going to tackle one of the biggest headaches for anyone who travels. You know the feeling, right? You're at 35,000 feet, you finally picked a movie, and there it is, the dreaded buffering wheel. It's like a universal symbol of travel frustration. But what if that whole experience just vanished? But look, this is so much bigger than just getting better Netflix on your flight. Think of 5G as a total game changer, creating this massive ripple effect. It's going to transform everything, from how planes are kept safe on the ground, to how they operate in the air, and even how you get on the plane in the first place. And just to be clear, we're not talking about some sci-fi future here. The market for 5G in aviation, it's projected to hit over $36 billion by 2032. I mean, that's a huge investment, and it tells you one thing: a massive shift is already underway in the industry.
All right, so what's the big deal? What exactly is the promise of 5G in aviation? Let's break down what makes it such a powerhouse.
Okay, take a look at these numbers. The jump from 4G to 5G is just staggering. First, latency. That's the lag, right? It goes from around 50 milliseconds to under 1. It's basically instantaneous. Then you have speed. We're not just talking about streaming HD. We're talking multi-gigabit speeds. And maybe the most critical piece for a crowded plane or airport, device density. It goes from handling 100,000 devices per square kilometer to over 1 million. This incredible capacity is the engine that's going to power everything we talk about next.
So let's start with the fun stuff. What does all this tech mean for you, the passenger? How is your whole travel experience going to change?
Just picture your next flight. You could actually be on a work video call, and it's crystal clear, no lag. The kids next to you could be plugged into VR headsets, totally immersed in a game. Meanwhile, you're streaming a 4K movie and it doesn't buffer, not even once. Your little seat in the sky basically becomes your own personal high-speed command center.
And hey, these upgrades aren't just for when you're in the air. They start the second you get to the airport. With 5G's lightning-fast data processing, things like biometric boarding become a reality. You know, where you just walk up to the gate, it scans your face, and you're on your way. Your face becomes your ticket. Think about it. No more frantic digging for your phone or your boarding pass.
But honestly, the passenger perks are just the tip of the iceberg. The really profound changes are happening behind the scenes. We're talking about building smarter and way, way safer skies for all of us.
Think about this for a second. A modern airplane is basically a flying data center. It has sensors beaming out more than 10,000 data points every single second. Now, with 5G, all of that information can be crunched in real time. This means ground crews can spot tiny, tiny little anomalies and predict a potential problem 2 or 3 flights before it actually happens. It's a whole new level of safety.
And this isn't just some nice idea on paper. This kind of real-time monitoring is set to slash unscheduled maintenance, the surprise stuff that causes delays, by a whopping 25%. For you, that means fewer gate changes, fewer delays, and just a more reliable trip.
And you can bet the airlines are paying attention. The financial impact here is absolutely staggering. Cutting down on that surprise maintenance, it can save about $1.3 million a year. And that's not for a whole fleet, that's for one single plane. Here's a perfect example of the efficiency gains. Right now, a full manual inspection of a plane's exterior can take about 4 hours. Okay, now imagine a drone with a 4K camera connected via 5G, zipping around the aircraft and beaming back high-res video. That same inspection, it's done in just 15 minutes. 15! It's not just faster, it's often more thorough, and it's a whole lot safer for the ground crew. And this transformation isn't just about the planes, it's about the entire airport ecosystem. We're seeing major hubs like Heathrow already put 5G to work. They're automating baggage handling, which has led to an 18% drop in lost luggage, which is amazing. They're getting planes turned around 20% faster, and they're even boosting sales in the terminal by sending you personalized deals on your phone. Okay, so this all sounds incredible, right? But a shift this huge is never easy. It doesn't just happen overnight. So let's talk about some of the real-world challenges and hurdles the industry has to navigate.
So you might remember this one making headlines. The biggest safety concern was something called radio altimeter interference. Basically, the worry was that certain 5G signals, which operate in the C-band spectrum, could mess with the plane's altimeters. And those are super important. They're the instruments that tell the pilots exactly how high they are off the ground during landing, which is absolutely critical, especially in rough weather.
So you have this potential problem. What's the fix? Well, it came down to collaboration. The FAA got together with the big telecom companies, and they came up with a pretty clever solution. They created these 220-meter buffer zones around 88 major U.S. airports. It's a simple idea, really, but it's super effective at making sure those 5G signals and the sensitive landing gear stay in their own lanes. The other big elephant in the room? Money. This stuff is expensive. To retrofit just one plane with all the necessary 5G gear can cost anywhere from $500,000 all the way up to $2 million per plane.
So how do you get past a price tag like that? Well, to speed things up and help with those massive costs, governments are getting involved. Take the European Union, for instance. They've put together a €4.7 billion action plan, specifically to offer incentives and help build out this critical infrastructure. All right, so we've laid the groundwork, we've talked about the challenges and the solutions, so now let's look ahead. What does the future of flight, powered by 5G, really look like?
And this is where things start to feel like science fiction, but they're not. By 2030, we're talking about things like autonomous tugs on the tarmac that can position an aircraft with an accuracy of just 2 centimeters. We could see holographic crew members, basically virtual assistants helping with in-flight service. And get this, entire fleets of urban air taxis. We're talking hundreds of them per city, all managed seamlessly and safely by 5G networks. And again, this isn't some far-off dream. The timeline here is actually pretty aggressive. Projections show that by 2028, that's just a handful of years from now, 65% of commercial planes and a whopping 90% of business jets will be 5G ready. This future is coming, and it's coming fast. It leaves you wondering, right? We've talked about all these incredible upgrades, but when every single piece of the air travel puzzle is connected, what truly new possibilities, things that we haven't even thought of yet, are finally going to take off?